Thank you all for joining us for our Sunapee Q&A. For those of you that haven't met me in person, my name is Amanda Kidd Kessler, and I'm the executive director here. I see a few new names, so I'm so excited to meet you as new members and also to get to know you and your work. Um, Sunapee is, and we call it Sunapee, but it's really the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen fair at Mount Sunapee Resort, is just such an incredible experience. And for those, has everyone here attended at least and been to see the fair? For the most part. Okay, awesome. So you know how special it is, but I'm a transplant to New Hampshire, and when I went for the first time, I was just so wowed with
Sorry to
like,
interrupt. I have never been to the Sunapee Fair, so could you like explain more about it, please?
yeah, absolutely. So I was just so moved by like the the scale of the event, the quality of the work, and the community around it. So it's an art fair. It's, as you know from the dates, it's a 10-day fair. So when people set up their booths, they all have very sophisticated setups. It's juried, and there are some guest artists that are not league members that are able to participate, and that it is juried and curated and very intentionally selected the artists who are invited to participate. Um, so when the artists set up their booth, there's carpets, there's pedestals, there's lighting. It is just really, there's a lot of effort that goes into these beautiful displays. And that's partially why we wanted to set up the Zoom and chat with everyone tonight, is because we have really high standards, and it's a really special honor to be welcomed to the league fair, and we want to make sure that we are, showing the best, putting our best foot forward for NHAA, in that regard. But it's pretty big. There's a lot of vendors. I don't know, Carol, maybe you can chime in for
We'll say I believe there are 8 tents, and between 50 and 60,000 people attend this fair every year. We're in tent number one. A lot of people like to start at one and work down. So we see a lot of people first thing. Sometimes we're the first tent they go to. And it's a tradition for people. People have been coming, they come to Sunapee every year for years. It's very special, and it's just exciting to see all the artists in one place, and that kind of thing. So
And this is NHAA's biggest single sales event of the year. Last year, we did about $40,000 in art sales. Um, that was our record, and we're hoping to get close to that again this year. Um, and some of the artists and the craftsmen that participate, of course, outside of the NHAA tent, they might make 50 to 100% of their income just at this fair alone. So it's a really special opportunity for NHAA to be invited to have this tent. And Emily did a great job of sharing more of this history of the relationship between NHAA and the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen in our recent Instagram post. You guys can check that out, where we are, advertising who's participating in the fair as well. Um, and I'm gonna start sharing my screen so we can kind of start digging into some of this. This is last year's, and can everyone see this? Yep, great. So this is last year's tent. We updated our logo, so we have our new signage, and you can see how we set it up with bins down the center, and then we have these cube panels. We have Darren Taylor's work right here in the front, um, who's participating again this year. And let me see if I can go back. This is the sculpture garden in front of our tent. So people, when they enter, you can, there's walk through the sculpture garden to get up to the NHAA tent. You can see our banner holds up. This is what it looks like inside the tent. So we always have a lot of visitors circulating around. And when we say that you have a panel, you have one side of these cubes. And if you have two panels, then you have two sides of a cube. There's some setup and installation going on over here. And so what I want you all thinking is how do you want to use your panel and how can you sort of maximize your presentation with your panel? Um, you can see here through some of the ones that I've shared, there's a variety of sizes. You might have one large piece with a medium-sized piece and several small pieces. That's a great approach because you're hitting multiple price points. Um, and you're really like maximizing what will fit on the panel and what will be a beautiful presentation. This was the front of our tent again, and we always like to put something really nice and colorful on the outside to bring people in. Um, this is Howard Muscat's. He's going to be participating again this year. These are all photographs on aluminum. We have Darren Taylor's skateboards. And then this was my setup. I participated last year. And you can see one of the reasons why I wanted to show this is because if you have a little shelf or if you have a business card holder, you have something, if you have like a postcard or an offering or something like that, we really recommend that you attach something to your panel to be able to give that out. You can also see it right here on Darren's. He has his little business card holder attached to the panel. This is your space, and we just want we want to give you creative ways to maximize your opportunity at the fair, which means how do you get your name out there and help people connect with you? I use this to show some of my pottery, but if you decided not to get a portfolio bin, you can use a little shelf like that to put portfolio bin pieces. Um, you can have business cards. I also, one year when I participated, I made up postcards that had my artist statement on it. You can print those. Really, it's whatever you want, but think of this as a major professional opportunity.
Just to tack on to what Amanda was saying, I'm going to be exhibiting at Sunapee this year as well, and I ordered a 4-pack of acrylic business card holders. They're clear, just hold probably, I don't know, 25 to 50 business cards. So I have 3 extras because it came in a 4-pack and I only need one. So if anyone wants to claim one, just send me an email. I've got some extras.
Yep.
And I want to say bring as many cards as you can because people go through and take them.
Yep.
Yeah, Carol recommended like 500, and you definitely will go through a lot of business cards. And just thinking about the numbers, like the number of visitors that are coming through to the event is huge. So if 1% of them come and take a business card, that's still a huge number. So think about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, uh, there's some different examples here, and really my structure for this is like this is for you guys, and this is a Q&A. So if anyone has any questions about how to just like panel displays or what would be an effective layout, please chime in and you can raise your hand or just go ahead and ask your questions. Carol, go ahead.
I want to add a couple things. The tent walls are taken down every night, so it's enclosed. So if it was to rain or something, everything's protected. They are at 5 o'clock, they just start putting them down, and we're usually one of the first tents to go down. We also have a storage unit in the lodge that's right next to us. So if you can bring extra things and store them securely.
So right through here,
yep,
this
right
is
there.
that's where the lodge is.
So you can bring extra things. So, and if you're not around and you sell something, we'll usually go down and take a look and see what we can put up. So you do need to make labels for everything. You are responsible for your labels.
You're responsible for your labels, and also you're responsible for installing the work on your panel. So when you come and bring all of your work and unload, you should plan on bringing, anything that is required for your setup and your install. That includes your labels. It includes, of course, your artwork, but make sure that your work is wired well. Make sure that you have some hooks and nails. We have some available, but if there's anything specific that's going to make this process easier for you, if you have a lucky hammer where every time you install your work, you sell that piece, please bring that. Very essential. um it just this, and there will be, it's really like the community aspect of this is what makes it so fun, because all of the artists will be bringing in their work, they'll be installing. You can be like, oh, this is your work, oh, this is me, this is what I do, this is what it means. There's a huge community element. And then also within the fair itself, there's you will have a special volunteer badge that you'll get when you come to work your shift at Sunapee. And when you wear that and you walk around and talk to other artists and craftsmen that are participating, they'll be like, oh, where's your work? What are you doing? There's a huge connection there. So I really recommend that you take advantage of that while you're at the fair as well. Um, but in terms of installation on the panels, how to make the most of it, any other questions on that? Or comments from from like artists who have participated in the past, what was helpful for you?
Do you have any recommendations for how to gauge what extra work to bring, or can we come like midway through the fair and like
I was gonna, Liv, are you going to, I don't know when you're volunteering. I don't have that list in front of me.
yeah, I think
Certainly,
sorry,
you
go ahead.
certainly could, you could check in with me. I'll make sure everybody has my number, my cell number. I get pretty decent reception there, so you should be able to get me easily. So, I mean, if it looks like you're running low, I can let you know that. And if you are coming up midweek or whenever you're volunteering, you're more than welcome to do that. As I say, we have a pretty large storage space. And I kind of say, as much as you want to bring in is safe. It's hard to say. Depends what people want to buy this year.
It is hard to say, but one of the things is because there's so many artists participating, I think we have what, 26 this year?
Yeah, I think it is. I think
Around there. Um, Keeping your things organized. So one thing that I like to do is organize all of my work in like a plastic tote. Um, and if that can then be stored, or that can be really helpful, making sure that your work is like wrapped and protected, so that if it is in storage and other things are going to be like, if there's going to be a lot of movement in and out there, then you feel confident that your work is cushioned and there's not going to, like, thinking through those aspects of the storage unit is really helpful. um but if you do live far away, I would err on the side of more, just in case.
Yeah, that was part of my question. I do live a little further.
And I usually, when we open up the storage unit, I'll usually go over everything that you have, so I know where your pieces are, what you have. And that way, if we end up with a spot that's been sold and we need to hang something up, we can run down there and get something.
Mm. It's as
Totally.
far as like having everything in our inventory and stuff too. You can add things midweek, but when you bulk up at the beginning, it means everything can already be in the system. We can print barcodes for everything and have it on the back, so that when Carol goes to get something out of storage, it's already got its barcode attached, so we don't have to worry about that when things are already there.
Hmm.
So it's helpful.
And I think that might be a good segue. Oh, hold on.
Sorry, we just had someone come into the gallery. Amanda's got to tell them that we're not open today, or not open at the moment.
I was gonna say, I thought we were closed.
Mm.
Sorry about that. So, just to, sorry, pick up where I was left off, I would wanted to share my screen and show everyone the inventory list that we're going to be using this week, or sorry, this year.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of tools or I don't know, utensils, I guess, are going to be available for us to like install our artwork? Like, are there going to be hooks, or should we plan on bringing our own?
You should plan on bringing as much as, I would plan on bringing your own. And if you
Mhm.
forget something or you don't have something, NHAA will probably have
Mhm.
something that you can use in a
Okay.
pinch.
Okay.
We do have some hammers, we do have some nails,
Mhm.
and I have to go up there and go through. We keep everything in a storage unit in Sunapee, and so I need to go up and take a look and review everything we've got because I've forgotten. It's been a year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is our inventory form. Emily, and just so, and I realized that maybe I kind of I introduced myself, but I didn't really introduce Carol or Emily, but you've heard from them already. Emily is our marketing director who helps a lot with our inventory and our point of sale system with our barcodes. Carol is our exhibition coordinator and also handles all of our offsite exhibitions, including Sunapee, of course. So this is our inventory form. So everyone will get this, and I'm going to just fill this out right now so you can see how it works. The red star, the red asterisks are where you have to, it's required.
While you're filling it in, somebody asked about nails. The panels are all, we use nails on all the panels.
Mhm.
Mhm. And so here where I'm putting in the piece information, I'm putting in the title, and then just like it says up here in the example, this is also where you're going to put the medium and the price. And so there's not a separate line for each one of those things. You just have to follow the example set up here at the top. And it only requires you to do one. We assume that you're going to have more than one piece on your panel. So like please take time to do this. Something that I like to do for my own sake is I might come up with, whether it's in my notebook or sketchbook, or if I do it digitally via like a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet, I like to keep track of all this information for my own practice. And Liv has a great program called Gesso that you can use to keep yourself organized. Um, so, there are many tools that you can use to keep your own practice organized, but take, have your master sheet. And then when you have your master and you know everything that you're submitting, come here and fill this out. And that way, you know that your information is correct. Because something that is really challenging for us as a small team representing 26 artists, and this is just one of many other exhibitions and programs that we have going on this summer in August, is that if you have a price change, if you have a title change, if something was entered incorrectly, we have a window where we can make those types of corrections, but we don't really want to be making any of those corrections when you're dropping off your work. So the more time that you spend preparing and getting ready to submit this form, the better. And the big thing is pricing, because we don't want you to forget a zero on the end of a piece. That makes a huge difference. And we're not going to know, because this is where you're entering it. This is going to serve as our master. So taking time to make sure that all of your information is accurate is really important. And then when you have your information and it's ready to go, when you scroll to the bottom, um, you can hit next. And the reason why we have 55 pieces here is because besides filling the framed work that's on your panel, you can also use this to enter your bin work. Oh, sorry. No, I'm wrong.
No,
That
Binwork's the next page. So it was just out of an abundance of caution that I put 55 on there. I really doubt anyone is going to bring 55 pieces for their panels unless your work is really tiny. But that was just in case so that there's enough spaces for everybody when they bring all their work.
And where is the
Um,
inventory list again located? Is it on the website or was it sent in one of the attached emails? I should know this, but
I believe Carol sent it out in an email,
you
but
did.
we can also
Okay.
resend it out to everybody after today. So it's just an update reminder of the form you got to fill out.
Okay.
And just as a reminder for bin work, Sunapee, I shared with everyone what an incredible honor it is and how big of a deal it is that has been invited to participate year over year. And G-clays are not permitted for this. It's only original artwork. So in this example where I'm putting a snowdrop print, it is an original etching for $50 and the quantity is five because it's a limited edition of 5 out of 5 etchings. Um, so I don't want to, I wanted just to clarify that in case anyone was confused by the idea of multiples. And for bin pieces, if you have sketches, studies, small pieces, and you only have one, of each, that's totally fine. That's totally great. This is just an example if you are a printmaker or a photographer or someone who is using a process that has original work that you can have multiples of. And again, there's a lot of space here for you to input all of that. And
Amanda, we had a
then
question of how much bin work is a good amount. What would you say fits in the bin?
Um, our bins, I don't have the measurements in front of me, but there were at the original Sunapee prospectus, we can share that with everyone again. There are like size restraints to what fits in the bin. I want to say it's something like 18 inches is probably the maximum size on one side. But we can confirm that.
I think
I would
I think
say
I think it's 21 wide.
21 wide.
It's
So it has
sticking
to
out my head, but I'd
fit.
have to look that up.
And you also need to have a firm, rigid backing board because if you have work, like especially works on paper without a backing board, there's a high probability that your work can get damaged. Um,
Additionally, you don't want to bring anything that's like, I would say any smaller than 8 by 10 because it will probably fall out of the bin. They have like kind of big separations in between each like wooden panel that holds up the bin. So I would, yeah, be careful about like bringing work that's not smaller than 8 by 10.
mhm. And you can always mat it larger.
And
Um,
always think about how something that's really fragile probably isn't going to work well. For one thing, you're outdoors. So we have humidity to deal with. We just have people touching stuff again and
mhm.
again and again. So
But in
I
terms of a number, I would say anywhere between 12 and 25 would probably fit well in a bin, sort of depending on size. And again, you can have replacement bin items that could live in a tote in the storage unit.
I wasn't really aware. I thought it was for prints. So I don't really have, so I reserved one, but I don't really have any items that would fit that bin then.
well,
Okay.
that's fine. I will bring all the bins, and if you are not using them, we'll put it away. It's fine.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Um, and then this last part of the form, Emily, if you want to chat about this, we
Yeah,
kind of
so
already talked about it, but
So this last part of the form is just to make sure everybody's on the same page. You just have to check off that yes, you double checked, you filled out all the titles, prices, and mediums correctly. And that if you're making any edits, so the way that this form functions, it's a Google form and it will give you a receipt back in the email that you enter that lists everything that you put in there. So you should be able to see and refer back to the list that you gave us. And you also should be able to edit it. So if you make any edits to it or want to add anything after July 28th, just make sure you send me an email and say, hey, I did this, because otherwise I might not see it and might not add it into inventory. So I just need that kind of like extra reminder that you've added some more things or edited some more things.
so I just wanted
And
to show if you all were able to see, I was able to just hit my response and then go back and edit it. If I say I wanted to add in other this year, I can do that.
Yep. And Liv, yes, the commission split is 60-40, Amanda, right?
Mhm.
60% to artists. And then most sales, what's the price range we would say? We sell things in between. David Zerba typically is selling work in the thousands, but he has gone to Sunapee for years. People specifically come to the fair to see his work. He has a really large following there. I would say a lot of the sales we see are between, what would you say, 50 and 350 maybe?
Yeah. Is
I think
Chris,
350
Christine,
is a really sweet spot. When we average everything out, the last year, I think NHA's average sale was something around like $200. Um, and that's not to like, scare anyone off from having more expensive large work, but I do want to say that, we're in a weird economic moment, and we're noticing in the gallery that we are like people are really drawn to smaller works. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't showcase your larger work and your higher price point pieces. I'm not, and I never want to discourage that in any way. But I also just want to share like what we're seeing in Portsmouth at the Levy Gallery. The thing about the fair is people buy a ticket to be able to attend, and a lot of people go there like looking to buy. Um, I know I put cash aside throughout the year because I have a new tradition of, purchasing a piece from the fair. And there's a lot of people, like Carol said, that come every year and do that. So sales are very good. We just don't really know what it's going to be. But in the same marketing practices that you use, whether you're having a traditional gallery exhibition at the Levy Gallery or beyond, you want to apply to Sunapee. So you want to be sharing it on your social media. You want to be, if you have a mailing list, you want to be emailing your mailing list saying, "Hey, I'm participating in this awesome event." Um, that's in part why Emily created the post, the Instagram post that I referenced before about the history, to kind of like share what a big deal this is that you all are participating and that we've been invited to do this.
You also
Um,
should have received an email that had a little Google folder of, I think it says like my work is in Sunapee. If you want to add that to your socials, it's not a requirement, but feel free to use it if you just want to advertise that you're going to be there. And it's all got NHA's like branding and everything on it. And there's also a list that I keep posting of everyone that's going to be exhibiting up there as well.
mhm. And sometimes we do get questions about like what type of work would sell. And one of the things that's really great about the NHA tent at Sunapee is that we have so much diversity and variety. And we have a combination of traditional artists that are working representationally, maybe with themes of wildlife and landscape. And we also have abstract artists. We have artists that are addressing contemporary issues and everything in between. So really like the variety and like what makes your work unique is what makes our tent special. So don't feel like you have to fit into a cookie cutter. Don't feel like you have to make specific work to hopefully sell. Like that's what makes our tent special, is that we have a wide variety of different mediums, different styles, and different approaches, and our organization is intergenerational. We have artists of all ages, which is really something that I think is unique and something that we celebrate.
Emma, you asked, does the league have any other requirements regarding presentation? I assume intentional edges, gallery wrap, but are frames required or is a finished edge acceptable? I would say for a painting on canvas, a finished edge is acceptable. I would say framed work probably, I don't know. I would say framed work maybe sells better because people can just grab it and put it up in their homes, but people do that with gallery wrap canvases too. Um, the caveat to that is if you do work on paper, I would plan to have it framed. I don't know if that's kind of what you mean necessarily, but I wouldn't. So sometimes we hang things up at the Levy Gallery with magnets, and that's fine. I wouldn't plan to do that up there. I would have everything framed
Mhm.
if it's on paper.
and
And
the league doesn't really control The only big thing that they are concerned about is it must be original work.
Yes. And just like Carol and Emily have mentioned, like the outdoor component, just be like, would you leave it in your backyard under a protected tent for 10 days? Is it safe to do that? You want to think about that with your work. That's why unframed paper is a no-no. And when you clear bags for all of your bin work is required to protect the work.
A ceramic piece that can hang on the wall is
Yeah,
good too. Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah. And in regards to what Amanda was talking about as far as large work too, large work doesn't really fit very well on the panels either. The panels are only, Carol, 27, 28
20,
inches
20,
wide. So if you
20,
have at least one
25.
large piece, that's going to be taking up like a third of your panel. So if you
Mhm.
do that, just be strategic about the other things you bring and maybe bring smaller pieces to go around it.
Yeah.
Olivia, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So earlier you guys mentioned that we could put like a shelf on our panel that and could like unframed original pieces that are in like plastic sleeves be put on that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, just double checking.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Um, Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit was like what the experience of like your volunteer shift or your artist working shift at the tent looks like. So while you're there, of course, you're going to be representing yourself and your own work, but this is a community endeavor, and we are, an organization that represents all of you. So one of the things that's always really helpful is if you notice someone's walking over to a panel is to like talk up your neighbor, talk up your friend, talk up your fellow artists in the tent. And you'll be better equipped to do that if you introduce yourself to folks during install day and you familiarize yourself with everyone who's participating. The other thing is that having those conversations and greeting people, making them feel welcome in the tent, it's the same experience that we're trying to provide at Sunapee as what you get in the Levy Gallery. So I know all of you have heard us say we greet you when you walk in the door. We say, "Hi, how are you? Welcome in." Um, we would like you to do that on your volunteer shift as well. Emily and Carol will train you on how to make a sale and how to do barcodes, how to wrap up the artwork, how to account for things like where does the cash go. That will all handle on site, but just think about it too. Like, do you have a little elevator pitch about your work? Do you have, do you have a few sentences or a little speech that you can practice and put together for yourself about explaining like your artist statement or what making that piece meant to you? Or people are really like, this is the type of fair where people really love engaging with the artist and want to know what inspired you. Where did you find this creature that is in your watercolor? Where did what location was this painted at? They're really curious about all of that. So the more detail that you can provide and the more conversational and open and friendly that you can be, that can really help inspire art sales.
And it's probably a good idea that you're not going to be there every day, but if there's special things that you want people to know, make sure I know about them.
Mhm.
So that if somebody asks me about your work, I can say, well, she's told me da 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 da.
Exactly.
Carol, Carol, that makes me think, the more I think about it, that makes me think about the postcard is a good idea for us to have. I mean, I know people take our business cards, but I'm wondering more about a postcard now with a few little blurbs about our work that I could put on the wall. And I haven't done that
I
before, but I think I will.
I did that for one of my Sunapee shows, and it was on I decided to put a picture of me and
Yeah.
my artist bio, and then on the other side, I put my artist statement. And part of the reason why I did that was because the work that I was showing was really specific and needed a little bit of an explanation about what this medium meant and what it meant as a body of work. And I found that I ran out of postcards.
Yeah,
everyone
I
was
think
super
even
excited to take that and to read about my practice. And I got a
yeah,
bunch
and I
of,
think people really want to know. I mean, I think that's
Mhm.
a really good idea, and I'm thinking that's something that even if it was like a
Well,
little flyer too with the stuff in it, and
well,
just
we
put it.
do have, and
Yeah,
Emily, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but we are going to be having bio cards for
yeah.
Yeah,
Sunapee.
Oh,
so each year,
excellent.
So
we have little bio. So like when a piece of yours sells, we can put in like a little bio about you with the piece, so people can know a little bit about you, once they get home.
Absolutely. And we have the NHAA logo on it and your name and just, more information about you.
and if you don't make as many sales as you might be happy with, keep in mind, I remember one year I was showing, and about 3 years later, a woman called me because she'd hung on to the card and said, "Remember that picture you had?" And da 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 da. I'd really like to give that to my son for Christmas. And I
Mhm.
found it and we made a sale. So sometimes people look at stuff, they don't always buy it right then, but they remember it.
Mhm. And that's why it's nice to have small, affordable pieces, even if it's like a little 2x3 sketch or a little like mini, you know, lino cut or something like that, that is going to be at a lower price point. It's kind of like a I don't know, it's an entry point for someone to start collecting your work. And then when they have a little bit more money and they've lived with your piece and they're like, wow, I really love that, make sure that you have your business card in the clear bag when you sell it so that they have a way to get in touch with you, or with NHAA so we can help make that connection for you. And then, I've had people who've held on to things like that. And then, like Carol said, you never know, like hopefully the bigger sale will come through when they're ready. I saw Darren, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick one. For the labels that we will put beside the artwork, is there a template that we all have to use, or is it
Well,
a
I did send a template out. I can send it again.
see, Carol, you're so on top of it, and I'm just
Darren, what are you doing? Yeah,
exactly.
I'll make sure I'll send the template back out just to be.
Oh,
I
I'm
think,
sure I have. If you sent it, I'm sure I have it. I'm
well,
sure.
I'll send it again. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Emma, you were asking about labels and recommendations for printing them. We would definitely recommend printing out your labels on cardstock. It holds up pretty well, especially since you're going to be in the outdoors. And we've got what Carol just said. We've got, you know, templates for all of them. If you don't have a printer, I would suggest going to local library, going to Staples, or yeah, that's another good one. Avery Business Cards is awesome, and you can kind of like break them apart. That's what we use for a lot of the labels that we do here too.
When I send the template, I'll send the Avery number that we use, and then everybody will. It's your choice. I mean, you certainly could just print them on cardstock and cut them up too.
And the Avery labels are easy to find. You can get them at Staples. I also have purchased the Avery labels and then printed them at my local library. You can do it. Just make sure that you talk to your librarians before you put random paper in their printers. Um, and any other questions? We went over a lot of things, but really the bulk of this was supposed to be a Q&A. So really, and I'm sure that any question that you have, other artists want to ask. And then there's only about half of the artists participating are here tonight. A lot of people are going to be on watching the recording. So feel free to ask questions for other people too.
Did you?
I oh sorry.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. I have two questions. One of them is if we want to visit but we're not volunteering that day, will we be able to get in or do we need to pay the entrance fee?
No, you have your pass, and that's good for the
Okay.
whole fair.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. And then can you go over the logistics for the install day, like timing and that kind of thing?
Amanda, I sent you the map. Did you?
Oh yes, let me share that map. Let me
Because
share the map and then
I
let
can
me
talk
pull
about
up,
that.
yeah, let me pull up I'll pull up our Sign Up Genius And we can talk about the day of logistics as well. Sorry, the map doesn't want to share. Here we go.
Pesky map. All righty. So this is the layout of the fair. And when you drive into Sunapee, the main parking lot is parking lot number 1. And during setup, you're allowed to drive, and you can see the line I've drawn. You drive up, it's a driveway, you drive behind a lodge, and you can park behind the NHAA tent to unload your pieces. There's not a super amount of parking there, but certainly enough for you to park, and then you could put your car back in parking lot number 1. This would be on Friday morning. We start at 9 o'clock. We have to be off the grounds by 2 because they have the league has their opening that night. So we need to be set up and gone by 2 o'clock. You'll see the Sunapee Lodge, that's where our storage is. And the other thing that I have to emphasize is when you're working, you're wearing one of our passes, you need to park in parking lots 1, 2, or 3, and you'll see them down in the lower right-hand corner. So you'll end up walking through the whole fair to get to our tent, which is kind of fun because you get to see people and what food, what you might want to have for lunch, those kinds of things. But we are not allowed to park in lot number 1 during the fair. Now, after the fair, no one can come onto the grounds with a vehicle until 5:30. Fair ends at 5. We must stay open until 5. Between 5 and 5:30, you could come and get your stuff gathered, get it from storage, but you can't bring your vehicle on the property until 5:30. So just keep all this stuff in mind. You could park in parking lot 1 after 5 o'clock and carry your stuff down if it's small enough and you don't mind doing that.
Or if you have a wagon, bring a
If you have a
wagon.
wagon, a lot of people use wagons, those kinds of things. But those are just a couple things that the league is very particular about. Now, we start at 9 o'clock. You bring your pieces in. You start hanging. I will have a name tag on the top of your panel and also if you have a bin on your bin, so you know where your work goes. And I'll be there to help. We'll be setting up the panels on Thursday. If anybody is really energetic and wants to come help set them up and paint the panels on Thursday, you're more than welcome. If you're interested, let me know and I can give you some details on that. Anybody questions?
I saw on the chat, there's one question. If we want to volunteer more than one day, the volunteer sheet was full. Is it still okay to come and help out?
It certainly
Absolutely.
is.
Just get in touch with Carol so she knows when to expect you.
I mean, a lot of times some people never sign up. David Zerba drops in every day for a couple hours because he lives around the corner. Other people have to make a trip. Howard Muscat's there a lot. So yes, no, if the and as I say, that seems like that sign up genius fills up very quickly. And yes, you're more than welcome to come anytime you want to come.
And then another thing I wanted just to mention about food is there are places that you can get food at Sunapee, but if you have dietary restrictions, you probably already know the drill. Bring your own. I recommend bringing a water bottle. I recommend packing some snacks and packing your own lunch, especially if you want to go a lot. Like the food is often expensive and there's not a ton of options. There are options, but that's just the nature of it. So definitely plan accordingly.
Yes, and the days can be very hot. I'm hoping that we have nice weather. Last year we were very fortunate. It did not have any rain, but as the week progressed, it got hotter.
Yes.
So, and that slows the fair down because a lot of people don't want to walk around in the heat. But so I got my fingers crossed the weather's going to behave.
The weather definitely does have a big impact, and there's also been years where there's been damage due to weather, not at the NHAA tent, but at another at like the main Sunapee exhibition tent. There were some really heavy winds. So hopefully that won't happen to us this year, but just know that there are things that are out of our control. So this is our Sign Up Genius. This is, uh, we have our tent volunteer slots, which are all full. Um, and then we also have our setup volunteers. So there's a few, if there's a day on here that's full that you want to come, just get in touch with Carol and let her know. We could always use more help with, like she said, setting up the panels and also painting the panels. That's a really big deal. Um, we we're all set with the truck, right? We
Yeah,
don't need
we're all
someone.
set.
Okay.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, we're all set. Jeff's all gung ho.
Perfect.
Looking forward to it.
And then the breakdown is another thing where we could always we have a bunch of volunteers here, but that's a really heavy lifting type of thing. We will basically take the panels apart, load them onto the truck, and then we'll drive the truck over to the storage unit, unload everything, and lock up the storage unit, say goodbye to everything until the next year. So that's also another time where we could always use some extra hands. And we only have a few minutes left. We said we were going to keep this to an hour. So is there anything that we haven't answered? All right. Well, if
And
you
if you
think of
think of a
anything,
question later, don't hesitate to send me an email. I'm happy to get back to you.
absolutely. And we are so excited to have you all participating in this again. Like you're gonna love it. It's such a special thing. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be really fun. So thank you all for joining tonight and for participating.
I had a quick question, not really related to the art part, but so I'm assuming the market grounds is dirt.
Yes.
Okay,
It's dirt and grass.
In grass. Yeah.
just wanted to plan my outfit ahead of time.
Good shoes are a kind of a must.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, I hope you all have a great night. And like Carol said, if anything else comes up, please reach out. We're here for you, and we have time to, kind of flush everything out before Sunapee starts.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Everybody.
Thank you.
See you in
Thank
August.
you. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.